Hello students, welcome back to the second part of chapter 5. Now I'm going to continue with the remaining subtopics that I've left in the previous class. So now I'm going to start with Jahangir, but before that let me give you a quick revision of what I have explained to you in the previous class. So we are dealing with the Mughal Empire now. The founder of this Mughal Empire was Babur, and after Babur it passed on to Humayun, followed by Akbar, right? And in the middle, before Akbar came to power, Sher Shah Suri was ruling for 15 years. Now after Akbar, Akbar's son Jahangir, he took control over the Mughal Empire by annexing the states and all the possessions of his father, Akbar, all right? Now, under Jahangir, Jahangir followed all the policies, followed all the customs and traditions that his father Akbar has started. So, with all the new rules, with all the new customs in the society, his empire was ruling very well. However, in one of the battle, he could not perform very well, and that time he fell ill. So when he was ill, his wife Nur Jahan, he took care of all the empire. So Nur Jahan herself was one of the princes, and she was very beautiful, and she was very intelligent and quite brave as well. So when her husband was ill, when her husband Jahangir was ill, she was taking control over all the society, over all the cavalry and infantrymen. She took all the decisions. Whatever her husband was doing, she was doing that on her part. Now, during that time, Nur Jahan, she did her duty so well that her husband really respected her in return for that, and she also gained a lot of superiority during that times. All right. Now you can turn to page number 30, from where we are going to begin with the remaining part of the topic. So Nur Jahan, she was known as the light of the world because when her husband was ill, she was the light of the empire, right? So likewise, she was also given the title of light of the world, all right? Now, after this Jahangir, he was able to come back to his power. He maintained trade relations with the European rulers, and even the visitors from England came to the Mughal Empire. They visited the Mughal Empire and they shared the trade relations. So during that time, a lot of imports and exports took place, where all the precious stones and gems were imported, and in return, even the Mughal rule had also exported some of their spices and some of their precious stones. All right. After that, Jahangir, he also built some architectures. However, we will come to most part of the architecture in the times of Shah Jahan, right? So during the times of Jahangir, he also defeated many rulers, and he annexed their land. He expanded his territory. All right. Now he captured the Ahmednagar. He captured the rulers of Bijapur and Golconda, and all these empires of this Golconda and Bijapur came under his control, and that is how he expanded his territory. All right, and then just like the father, even Shah Jahan, he did the same thing, and he also expanded his territory. However, in the times of Shah Jahan, he was a great lover of architecture, so most of his time he spent on building all these architectures, right? Like the architectures of the tomb of Jahangir and Nur Jahan, the Moti Masjid, the Jama Masjid, and there are the Red Fort and quite a lot of them. However, one of such most beautiful structure was the Taj Mahal. And it is said that Taj Mahal was built in memory of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. And this Taj Mahal has been considered as one of the wonders of the world, right? Now this Shah Jahan, he also fought wars. He also defeated some of the rulers. However, he was more interested in art and architecture, and all those monuments and all the buildings has been designed by himself. So looking at all these architectures, we can see that Shah Jahan was very much interested in art and architecture and less in conquest and wars, right? So um, as I mentioned, that the Taj Mahal was built in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. So this Taj Mahal, it is made of white marble, and some of the building materials were imported from the foreign countries, from the European countries. All right, and in view of the entire structure, the moonlit night gives the picture of this Taj Mahal even more it makes the picture of this Taj Mahal even more spectacular. All right. Now coming to the next ruler, that is Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the son of Shah Jahan. All right. Now this Aurangzeb, he ruled between 1658 to 1707 AD, and Aurangzeb is considered as one of the ruler who ruled for the major part of the Gupta Empire, because he ruled for over 50 years. All right. Comparing to the other rulers who ruled for 20 to 30 years, some of them ruled for 10 to 15 years. However, Aurangzeb, he ruled for 50 years, and in these 50 years, he faced a lot of attacks. You can find it in page number 32 in your left hand side. You can see that Aurangzeb has faced a lot of attacks from Satanams. He also faced attacks from Bandelas, the Marathas, and the Rajputs. And one of the most fierce attack that he had to face was from Shivaji. So Shivaji was the ruler of Maratha kingdom that time, and Shivaji was very powerful. So though Shivaji could not take control over the Mughal Empire, though Shivaji failed to defeat the Mughal Empire, yet because of the constant attacks of these Rajputs, from the rulers of Marathas, from the rulers of Bandelkhans, this Aurangzeb, he had to face a lot of loss of loss of animals, loss of men, loss of army, loss of economy, right? Because of this loss, he became weaker and weaker with every phase of time. All right. So later on, after Aurangzeb died, his successors were not as powerful as Aurangzeb. So ultimately, the Mughal Empire came to an end. Okay. Now coming to page number 33, we will be learning about the causes of downfall, that is how the Mughal Empire came to an end. What were the main reasons that led to the downfall of the Mughal Empire? Okay, so the first one is the main cause for the Aurangzeb's failure was his strict orthodox Islamic religion, right? So this man, he wanted all his people to follow Islamic religion. He was totally against other religions, and that was also one of the main reasons that led to the downfall, because he has hurt the sentiments of other religions, and the other religions stopped supporting him with the face of time. So he had lesser and lesser people who supported him, and those people who were following other religions, they did not support him in the later part. So that caused the downfall of the Mughal Empire. Okay. In the second reason, it says that Aurangzeb was very suspicious. That means he could never trust his own man. Every time he had doubt, every time he doubted that his own man will do something against him. So because of his suspicious nature, his own men did not like his nature, and they could not unite together. So that was also another reason. Then coming to the third reason, the Mughal Empire saw a great financial loss. Like I mentioned, during these 50 years when Aurangzeb was a ruler, so many other rulers came and attacked him, right? So during every war, in every war, he lost a lot of men, he lost a lot of animals, he had to pay for all the causes of this loss. And because of these losses, his empire became weaker, and finally in the last battle he could not keep up, and that's how they lost the battle. They lost all their empire. Then in the fourth reason, he started a campaign against Hindus. He had many Hindus, he burnt up even the Hindu temples. Like I mentioned, he was into Islamic religion, right? He was following Islamic religion, so he was against the other religions. So during those times, there was these Hindus and the Muslims. There was some kind of competition among the religions also, right? So what he did was he burnt up the temples and he told their people to follow only Islam. So this because of this reason, the Hindus stopped supporting him, and he lost um, a great support from the Hindus. All right. In the fifth reason, he could not maintain peace and order in the vast empire. So when he was a ruler, he couldn't maintain the peace and harmonious society like his ancestors, because of his nature, because of his suspicious nature, maybe because he was constantly trying to differentiate between the Hindus and the Muslims, and that is the reason why there was no peace, there was no harmony among his own men, and that also led to the downfall of the Mughal Empire. In the seventh reason, it says that due to continuous wars and conquests, many economic problems also came up. So he was not able to pay his own men on time. Even agriculture was affected, even the food was not available. So many economic problems came up, and that led to the downfall of the Mughal Empire. In the seventh reason, it says that he forced others to follow a strict rule. So Aurangzeb, what he did was he never listened to his own men. He only wanted to impose some rules and regulations to his own people, and they had to follow by force. So though these people doesn't like the way he ruled, he was quite he was trying to apply a dictatorship type of government. So his own men, they did not like that type of control, and slowly they parted from him, and he lost his own people. That was also another reason that led to the downfall of the Mughal Empire. Okay, now here we get to know about all these things. We get to learn about all the history from the times of Babur, from the times of Akbar till the times of Aurangzeb. How we get to know all these informations, even from the beauty of this painting, even from the um, life history, even from the personal lifestyles, we get all these informations about these rulers is through the biographies that they have written. So Babur, he started his own biography, followed by Akbar. Akbar, he had Abdul Fazal, who was writing his biography. Then even Jahangir, they all wrote their own biographies and autobiographies. They also assigned some certain people who used to keep a record of all the conquests and all the battles that they had to go through. So from all these information, from all these biographies and autobiographies, we get to know about the Mughal ruler and their time. So one of the most popular autobiographies of all time is Akbarnama and Ain-i-Akbari. So this Akbarnama and Ain-i-Akbari, it is divided into 3 volumes each. In these 3 volumes, some of them talks about the great conquest of this ruler, some of them talks about the life history, their personal hobbies, some of them talks about the great range, how they were taking care of all the agrarian, how they were taking care of all the judiciary, and how the people of their times respected them in return. All these small things were given in this Ain-i-Akbari and Akbarnama. So this is how all the informations are collected, and we get a detailed information about the Mughal Empire. there were so many dynasties. Apart from the Mughal dynasty, there are so many dynasties. There are Suri dynasties, there we have Gupta dynasty. However, comparing to all these dynasties, we get a detailed information about the Mughal dynasty because of these biographies and autobiographies. All right, so that's all in this chapter. Let me give you a revision of this lesson. So we are doing with the creation of an empire, that is the Mughal Empire, and this empire was started by Babur. His real name was Zahir-ud-Din Muhammad. He first came to India from Central Asia in order to support some of the rulers in fighting the war, and however, he became the ruler himself, and then his possessions passed on to his generations. It went to Humayun, followed by Akbar, and then it passed on to Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and it ended after Aurangzeb. Okay, so Aurangzeb was one of the last rulers of the Mughal times. However, there were some other rulers. However, of all these Mughal rulers, these 6 rulers were one of the greatest rulers of the Mughal times. Okay, and then I have also explained to you about the causes of the downfall. Maybe if during the times of Aurangzeb, if these causes were checked, they might have continued even more. However, because of some certain reasons, the Mughal Empire came to an end. And we get all these informations because of the biographies and autobiographies which have been written by themselves and which were written by other writers. Okay, so that's all in this chapter. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon with another topic.